How's everyone liking Disc South so far? Thank you for coming on. I appreciate you guys seriously from bottom of my heart. We got some of the best disc golf content creators in the world, and they're gonna talk about whatever you are interested in. So they'll give some introductions, have Q&A, and enjoy the seminar. Who wants to do it?
Hello, everybody. My name is Joshua Miller, but you probably mostly know me as Jay Millie. I make disc golf content, as we all do. Usually, well, you might have seen my most popular videos are when I play a tournament with one disc, so you might have seen those videos. And yeah, I guess a little bit more vloggy style than just like 18 holes of disc golf. So yeah.
Hey everybody, my name is Greg from Six Sided Discs. Our content is mostly, I would say, like comparisons and analysis of discs. I love to do deep dives, exploring plastic, learning about the history of discs and stuff like that. Lots of learning how to pronounce things in Swedish or not, depending on who is leaving comments. So, good point.
My name's Hunter from Foundation Disc Golf, and I have found a way to make a living at being bad at disc golf.
My name is Brody Smith out of the podcast.
My name is Robbie C. I teach beginners how to play, and don't go far.
My name is Jesse. I run a company called Trash Panda. We are a disc golf manufacturer that makes discs out of 100% recycled plastic, based in Denver. Basically, all of our content is a peek behind the scenes of what it's like building a company, running a company, making discs, and recycling plastic.
So what questions do you have? The best part about a Q&A is if you have questions.
What's the next suggestion?
Yeah.
Great question, great question. Yeah, and blue.
Well, since you got the microphone, obviously, what was the decision, or what went into the decision this past year for you joining with Foundation Disc Golf on a lot of things you're doing?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. So, for me, I think when you go down this line in content creation in general, I would say that there are things that we all like to do, and there are things that we are all not a fan of. And when you first dive into content creation, you have to be a sort of one-man show. You have to figure out how to do all of it, right? You have to be the shooter, you have to be the camera, like you have to be the cameraman, you have to be the talent, you have to be the editor, you have to be the marketer, all of those things. And then if you really want to grow, you can start doing custom stuff and creating merchandise because people are super kind and want to like support you. Thank you for that. That's very kind of you. But like for me, working with Foundation there are several things that I'm very passionate about, but I only have so much time that I can do things. And like editing, I'm not good at editing. I'm never going to be great at editing. I don't really have a passion to be good at editing as well. I'm never going to be able to go in the world of like, if you listen to Jay Millie's podcast, like he puts 40 hours of work into one singular video. That hurts my soul. But there's also a reason that Jay Millie like has really entertaining videos that can captivate you the whole time. So that was something I never was like passionate about. And I would spend like 4 hours trying to learn how to make like a title flash across the screen, and then no one would comment about it, and then my soul would be crushed, and I would be like, why did I try to do this? And then I joined Foundation, and Silas is like, oh, I can do that in like actually 30 seconds. Sick, bro, sick. So joining with Silas, and I mean, it's been seamless I love what Foundation's doing. So partnering with great people is also there. And I would just say almost all the things that are a weakness of mine and things that I just am not passionate about getting better at, Foundation has come alongside, like custom discs. I basically never ran custom discs, and thanks to Foundation, like there are a lot of custom pricey discs out there. So I don't know if Hunter, you want to say any interesting
Does that make sense?
why would you try
Too. Yeah, there are other things outside.
Basically, I'm moving the wrong mic, so I'll lean into the
Does that make sense?
This will work. But our interest was basically, we at that time didn't have any coaching content out there really. And we were looking, we had a very new player customer base, new player viewership base, and coaching was just not something any of us were interested in. And Robbie was a phenomenal coach for new players, and that was what his content was based on. And so it really made sense for us because we were able to bring him in, our brands fit together, our values fit together, everything like that. And so it was able to provide more value to our fan base and serve his fan base. So really, it's a great fit.
Anthony, get up here.
Everyone like drum rollers. Slow clap. Slow clap.
You want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Anthony Bodanza. I run a channel called Bodanza Disc Golf. Make a lot of videos, a lot of reviews right now, and then also I'm pursuing being a pro tour player, so a lot of documenting that journey as well, and whatever I think is interesting in disc golf. I do a lot of things with disc golf.
Next question.
Raise your hand.
Yeah, so kind of for Brody and Hunter, I get a lot of news about the Pro Tour. Do you think that there's,
You got this.
do you think that there should be kind of a set course par? So like how golf has like 4 par 3s, 10 par 4s, and 5 par 5s. Like, do you think that's something you could see, or do you think we should try to stray away from golf?
So, when I come up with a lot of my opinions, it's based off of like history, facts, things that we've seen in the past. I'm not just like coming up with what Brody thinks. I look to see what's successful, and then a lot of times you just do that, and normally it's pretty good. Other businesses also, I'm sure a lot of you guys probably do that as well. You look at who's better than you in business. What are they doing that we aren't doing? How can we do that with our own little spin? Also, like the tribe, I guess is what people are saying nowadays, like that tribe mentality, like feeling like you're a part of something, that's pretty powerful. And so if you told me, hey Brody, I just went out and played disc golf today, I shot 44, I'd be like, all right. Means nothing to me, because I don't know what par you played. You might have played a par 54. But if you played a par 70, that would have been an incredible round, right? There's no connection there, right? Right now, there's no connection from one Pro Tour stop to the next. And I think there's a reason why other sports have, hey, every time you play basketball, the hoop is going to be 10 feet above the basket or above the floor. Every time you play football, we're going to play it on 100 yards. There's a reason why there is that, so there is connection between the two. I think one thing that is missing the mark in disc golf that golf has is we can't connect. We have to use, I don't want to get into a rating thing, but we have to use a number that really is a terrible way of determining how good you are at disc golf to tell people how well you played, where if we just all played under the same par, again, it could be maybe, let's say it's 68, 69, 67, something like that, and you told someone, hey, I shot 60 today, we all know right away, that's pretty good. My next question is gonna be like, did you play the front tees? Right, I'm gonna then ask, like, what tees did you play? But at least I have an understanding how well you played versus right now, if I told you right now, hey, this person just shot this at the Supreme Flight, do you have any idea how well they played? Is that a problem? Maybe. Is there a way to fix that? Yes. Why aren't we doing it? The fact that we aren't answering those questions, like that's to me is just a problem, right? And normally when you say this is how it's always been done, normally I look at that person and say, well, there's a reason you are where you are, I guess, because you just are doing the same thing over and over, you're not getting better. So that's my take. I don't know if I stole all of your answers, but.
What he said.
You can still have par 3 courses though, that's fine.
Yes, sir.
Would y'all, are y'all having any collabs that are not usual? Like any collabs that y'all haven't done already while y'all all at?
I got to film with Jesse and Jay Milley, and we got to do a weird disc round with also Robbie C. Whenever I say Foundation and Robbie's in town, I just am including him. So that was fun. Don't know if anyone else filmed some fun stuff.
We're talking about doing something. There's and I don't know, have you started working on it? Like all the stuff you were gonna shoot?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a series that we just kind of started up. I would say it's like part podcast, part. I don't know if I'm like inspired by late night shows. I got a desk and a couch, whatever. But anyways, yeah. So one of the segments I do in there is like guest discs blindfolded, and so far I've done pretty well. I will probably humiliate myself doing it with you, but yeah, it'll be fun. Sure.
Yeah, I'm filming a video. Well, I mean, obviously all these guys are very talented at what they do, so I'm filming a video trying to challenge every single one of them at something different. So that should be a little fun. I mean, the one we're doing together is going to be blindfolded discs because it just makes sense. So.
Yeah, we filmed something this morning, and then I have a series of videos I want to start kind of more with like little slightly longer form with people who I think either have a lot to bring in disc golf or kind of legends in disc golf, but aren't quite forward facing and just like get to know them better. So I'll be shooting that tomorrow morning with someone I haven't shot with before, and then just I don't really do a lot of like vlog style stuff, but that's what I'm doing right now. Sorry, I'm late.
Who's next?
Is there anything outside of disc golf that inspires disc golf content creation?
This is a good question. Easily the best question we've heard so far. But that's a phenomenal question. Thank you. The question was, is there anything outside of disc golf that inspires disc golf content creation? And to quote my good friend Jesse at the first ever disc golf expo, in order to be a content creator, you need to be a content consumer. Yeah, so I would definitely say that there are certain YouTubers and things that I watch. So like at the start of every single one of my videos, I ask someone how they're doing today. That is not an original idea to me. It was Ryan Trahan did a Penny Across America series. And on day 7, he says, "How is Steve?" And then there's like this cut. And he's like, all the Steves watching right now are like freaking out. And I was like, oh, that'd be hilarious. So I should do that. So I started adding it to my video. And now almost all of my videos have a comment on it of someone saying, when are you going to say hi to blank? I met someone today who said, hi, my name's Robbie. And I was like, great, my name's Robbie. He was like, you've never said hi to Robbie in any of your videos. Well, that feels a little vague, so but like it's been really fun, like taking other creators and sort of seeing like, can we adapt something? Find someone who's doing something better than you, and do it. It's crazy concept.
Did come up with it.
It's AP, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
I would say 100% to what you just said. For me, it's other businesses, other founders, or people who are running their own businesses. I really enjoy watching those. I think I can speak for Hunter in saying that Nick Bear has been an inspiration for both of us on that front. So that's an example.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that, like, going off of Brody's point earlier, there are so many examples of successful YouTube creators, content creators out there, that it would be silly of us not to look at that and think, okay, what can I take from that? There's a book called Steal Like an Artist. You can't just copy someone, but every idea is at least influenced, if not taken from something else and modified. So like early on, and still sometimes, a lot of people say my content's like Ryan Trahan. Well, that's kind of just like, that's the person I watch, and so it's just makes sense that that's kind of like, I enjoy that content, so that's the kind of content I make. And so whenever someone asks me what kind of content they should make, or like they want to get into disc golf content, I'm like, make the content that you would watch. Like when I started making my own content, I love watching 18 holes of disc golf with personalities that I watch, but I enjoyed so many other videos outside of disc golf that I just didn't see in disc golf. And I was like, well, I'll make that video. Like people talk about the most successful businesses being like, oh, I want this product. There's no product. Okay, I made that product. So that's kind of what I go for. Sometimes I hit, sometimes I miss. That's just how it's gonna go. But like, I take so much inspiration from other content outside of disc golf, you know. So yeah, great question.
Yeah, I think twofold. Like the very specific answer that I have is that like golf content is very easily applicable to disc golf. Both of them are in like similar settings. Like the games are like our game is based off of golf, and the biggest thing with that is there's very different budgets in different styles of golf content. So you look at the bigger golf players, and they're like doing $100,000 shoots or $10,000 prizes for like a series or something, and those are things that just aren't quite attainable. But how do you pair that in a way that is like one like business-wise, financially responsible for you, but then also makes sense to a disc golf audience because the audiences aren't one for one. Like golfers are golfers, and disc golfers are disc golfers, and we like things that are different, even though there is some similarity there. And then kind of my second answer is that I like to look at like the things that catch my eye when I'm watching YouTube that I have previously either had no interest in or just no experience with. Because if I'm watching something and it is like capturing me in a way that I want to stick around and watch it and I'm intrigued to click on it, like if I've never had any experience with that type of content before, how can I look at those things and then translate them to disc golf? Because someone who maybe one has never experienced disc golf before, but even if they have, if I'm that intrigued by it and I have zero relation to it, imagine how much more intriguing to somebody who does have a relation to that. And so it kind of captures both those things. So I find myself, if I'm like, why am I watching this random video maybe about like some piece of history that I have never thought of or heard of before, this invention is like, what are the concepts from this and the key pieces that I can translate into my content now, even if it's very not at all related to disc golf.
Question for Hunter.
Yes, sir.
I enjoyed chasing down your riddle buzz a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
Just wondered what the story was behind that and how that came about.
So that, as you know, we all just talked about imitating other people. We loved the idea of what Discmania was doing in their mystery boxes, where you had the like you were chasing something more than just a mystery box. And so we had the idea of taking it from, okay, Black Friday, everyone's going to get this riddle card, and in it you're going to have to go look at every different aspect of our business to find a different answer to allow you the opportunity to buy this mystery disc. And so we just tried it there, and it worked out really well. People really enjoyed it, and the kind of like motivation behind it for us was there's a lot of people who follow us, and when we're like at an event like this, will come up and they know us from Gridlock, and they have no idea we even do other stuff, or vice versa. They know us from our main YouTube channel. They have no idea we have a podcast or whatever it might be. And so we were like, well, hey, if they're shopping with us, this is a good opportunity to be like, you have to go find these different pieces of content to see everything that we're putting out and expose yourself to that. And if you do that, you get to buy exclusive discs. And it was really well received. I think we sold out of them, so we'll definitely bring it back next Black Friday. But yeah, that one, we just loved what Discmania was doing, where you were like, you know, you were buying an experience beyond just a disc. And so we were like, hey, for Black Friday, I think that'd be a great thing to like add in, and then also hopefully get people back to the site because we had more stuff dropping at the beginning of December to kind of like re-engage some of the traffic while it's still hot. So that was the ideas there.
Whose idea was it?
That's a fantastic question. Probably Brad or Trevor's. Yeah. AI wrote the riddles, so that was ChatGPT that I was feeding. But I'm not that creative. But I think it was Brad or Trevor that came up with the actual like we should do this idea. Yeah, I can't take credit for being there. I was just fed ChatGPT with some stuff and then edited it. But yeah. Yes, sir.
So you guys have all found, relative success doing completely different types of videos. Have there been any videos where you try something and kind of found, a success, like different audiences, stuff that you were really passionate about? And straight at you, and have success there. And then second question, what are the odds Dude Perfect goes on your next imposter series?
Very low on the second question. I don't know what I would have to do to get Dude Perfect to play disc golf, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I'll try my best, but yes, we've had plenty of content, and I don't know if everyone else can say this, that has been utter flops. I don't know if you've ever heard of our Foundation Nation channel. But that doesn't exist anymore. And the good news, it was a blast.
It was good at the beginning.
It was good at the beginning, and then Brody moved to Texas. I don't think the two are related, but it stopped working after that. I don't know what happened in between. But yeah, that channel was something where it's like, it was a blast. We enjoyed it, but it just didn't work out. We got plans for that channel, don't worry. But yeah, there's been plenty of other things. That's just one example. Oh, also, if you go back, plywood disc golf. That one's a great one. I guarantee y'all haven't seen it because no one has really. Slip and slide disc golf is another really fun one that no one's watched. We went through a whole series where we were just making skits as our intro to every video. Don't ask me why. That was a mistake. So yes, we've made plenty of dumb content. Anyone else? Just us.
Nobody else. I think on this topic, it's really difficult, I think, sometimes to predict what is the algorithm going to like. And there are definitely things that are a flop, but I think how you view that as the creator is really important. Because I do this now as my job because I love it. I had a good paying corporate job with benefits and I don't now. And I definitely, on my own, do not make very much money at all. But I have a great time and I love it. So I make the content that I want to make, and the way that it performs, obviously is important from a business perspective, and I can't ignore that. But how I feel about it needs to kind of be the same, regardless of whether it's a success. Because I want to enjoy making it, and I make the videos the way I make them because I want to make them that way. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, kind of going off of that, when I make a video, yeah, like Greg said, it matters how many views we get and who watches it, because that, at the end of the day, that's the end user. That's the audience is who should, on some level, drive what we're making. Because if we make something and they don't enjoy it, we shouldn't keep making it. But I look at every video and I try to keep it where I am enjoying making this. I am having fun, because at the end of the day, if you don't enjoy making the videos without the stuff attached to it after, there's no sustainability. You're gonna get burnt out, Even if you really, really enjoy it, it's a lot of work sometimes, and you could still get burnt out. But if you are just going through the motions or, putting on a front personality, it won't keep going. You're gonna fizzle out. So what you see in my videos is what you get in person. That's the kind of person I am. I'm not gonna fake anything, because if I fake something, people can tell, and at the same time, I'm gonna get tired of it, and it's a facade and it'll go away. So you have to make the content that you enjoy, and I don't even remember what the question was now. But we're here, that's what you get.
Yeah, if I remember the question, it is kind of along the lines of, have you made something that's not worked or been a flop? And was there a second part to that?
Just it hasn't worked, but you were really passionate about it and what your feelings were about it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting. Me saying that to Jamie, because our kind of business models are relatively polar opposite in terms of the number of videos that we put out and what we expect from them. The way that I've kind of hedged against that and being able to put out things that I really enjoy all the time, also balancing with things that I know will perform, is for me is putting out more stuff, frankly, and that's one of the ways that is helpful. But also, I think the more at bats you have, the more refined your at bats can become, and the better you'll get at each one. And I think the sweet spot is finding the intersection of what performs, what will do well, what you enjoy, and are passionate about. And there's a third part of that I forgot now. You know what I'm talking about? No, it's
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's what you enjoy, what will do well, and what an audience will like. Essentially, what I guess what will do well is essentially I have to put those two together, but that's financially what makes sense, what an audience wants and what you want to do, finding the intersection of that. And I think there's kind of two ways to do that. There's my approach and Jay Miller's approach. My approach is I'm going to do a lot of things and brute force my way to finding what that is. And his is a lot of research, a lot of scripting, a lot of back end, a lot of fun, and figuring that out. And then the stuff that he puts out does all those things. We get to a similar result through very different pathways. And so finding which of those or a different avenue will be your way to success is something that we'll have to figure out.
Last thing I would add is that you said we found success. I think what's cool is, like you even mentioned, we all found success in very different, in different genres inside the same sport. And sometimes you get really passionate about trying to step into someone else's lane for a second, and you're like, oh, this would be cool. And then your audience very quickly tells you, no, Like, that's not what we're here for. Birdie Talks is a series that I did on the channel, which is just interviewing people. Most of you in the room haven't heard of it because nobody watched them. And that's fine. Like, I had Jesse on, and I loved it. It was so fun bringing friends and creators on the channel and interviewing them and having a great time. And I thought, oh, people love to watch people play disc golf. People love to meet cool people and learn fun facts. Just not for me. So, cool. Great idea. If you want to try to grow an audience, try it. Maybe you're the person that they want to watch interview people, but it's not me.
Just curious, you guys, like, when you started making content for each of you, how much of it was just like a manifestation of your personality? Like, this is just who I am, and I just make stuff. And how much of it was like business? I need to promote what I'm doing here, so I started making content.
Great question. Yeah.
If you didn't hear the question, did anyone not hear the question? All right, perfect. Thank you, Tyler. Tyler Brickley in the back, by the way, fantastic content creator, and works in this.
All right,
Still one of my, yeah, anyways. Favorite comedy out there. Passionate, so sitting next to the person I'm sitting next to is really great for this because Jesse started content a few months after me, and we talked for the first time in January of 2021, like very early on in January, and he said, hey, do you ever think you'll do this for like a living? Because for the first year, it was passion. It was, hey, I'm gonna step away from my wife to go film videos this weekend because I was working a full-time job. So like content creation comes at a sacrifice till it is part of your job. And even then it's still somewhat of a job or it's a sacrifice because now your passion of your hobby, you have to pivot to monetizing and doing things. And that drains it to a degree. Not always all the way, but yeah, so that was where I was at, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna spend hours editing, spend hours shooting, all of that. Is it worth it? Yeah, because I love this. It's super fun. And Jesse, in our first phone call, asked me, do you ever think you'll do this full time? And I laughed, like audibly laughed back at him over the phone and said, absolutely not. Like, it's frisbee golf, dude. And it's
Our first and last.
yeah, and then that was where we were at. And about 14 days later, I got let go from my job and said, hey, what would I try to do if I did this full time? So the pivot can happen, but it definitely to me had to start as a passion because of that sacrifice that we made.
I started a business, so it was all business. Obviously, getting the personality out there is a huge part of it. But going back to the inspiration question, when I first started the company, I looked at who I was following on YouTube, and there were these people who I just like genuinely wanted them to win. I wanted them to be successful in life, and it was because I'd been watching their videos for 4 years or 5 years. And so I kind of figured if that was how I felt about someone I've never met, never bought anything from, maybe that would be possible on the flip side. And then with it, it was also just like, we're doing this stuff every day. The last video we made was about a plastic sample that came in and we tested it. If we didn't make the video, the plastic sample still would have came in and we would have tested it. So it was like, we're doing interesting stuff. Let's just bring people along for the journey. And then that also gets into something that was talked about earlier with one of the questions, which is the content I consume is that behind the scenes. It's that being able to see, I don't know, I just think it's so fascinating. So for me, it definitely was always the business, but our business, the money we make from YouTube is not the money we make as a company. It's not how we're sustaining the business. It's the marketing arm of our company. So, yeah.
I was listening, I think it came out a couple days ago, there's an interview on the Colin and Samir show, which if you're interested in creating content is a great resource, just something to watch or listen to. And they were interviewing the CEO of Patreon, who also has a couple of his own content businesses. And he, being a very nerdy analytical guy, someone I definitely can't relate to, is was analyzing creators on Patreon, just creators in general, that there seem to be like three kind of archetypes of people who make content on like the passion, which is business idea. One is this very much like, I'm just gonna do this no matter what. I'm just gonna do it. Like the artist type, like I'm just gonna make this stuff no matter what. If it performs, great. If it doesn't, great. Like I'll find a way. Then there are the people who do it very much for the business purposes. Not to say that there's no passion in it. And all these are like on like sliding scales. So the artist isn't 100% just an artist, maybe like 99%, and then a little bit of business. And then you have someone who, similar to exactly what Jesse was talking about, very business side, also very much cares about the artistry of it, but it's for a specific purpose. And I think I kind of fell right in the middle there. Probably slightly to do with like, I'm a very personal finance nerdy person, and like that was a big part of growing up. Like that was a reason that like my parents split, and so there's like some deep-seated stuff inside of me that I probably have to work out through journaling and therapy a little more. But figuring all that out, for me, it's pretty split down the middle, where like I really care about this, and if I wasn't creating disc golf content, I would be making something, because I had 4 or 5 failed YouTube channels. I made a fishing YouTube channel. I had one for singing a while ago. I had one for like woodworking. I had like a personal finance one, which I still kind of have, and then I have this disc golf. Like I just kept doing it because I just love making videos, but I also was always doing it thinking I could do it full time. And so I think if you're someone who wants to make money from it, and that is a motivating factor, like you don't have to just be an artist and it has to be the only motivation. It can be both, and like there are different motivations for different people to get started. For me, it was more towards the center, probably skewing like 60-40 on the business versus artist side. But for everyone, it's going to be somewhere different on that scale.
I think, did I start making videos before everyone up here?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Okay. So I think actually what we might be seeing here is a trend back into the roots of what started with YouTube. Similar how we see that with fashion, trends go away, then all of a sudden everyone's like, don't wear those are hideous, and 20, 30 years go by, someone starts wearing them, everyone's like, we gotta wear these again, right? I think we actually might start seeing that more on the content creation side, because what started, if I went to my girlfriend's parents' house and they asked me, what do you do for a living? And I told them, oh, I make YouTube videos. The answer would be, or the question back is, what is that? No one knew what that was. When people came into YouTube at the beginning, YouTube actually sent a message to you saying, hey, your YouTube video is getting a lot of views, can we put ads on it? No one made money at the very beginning making YouTube. Everyone did YouTube because they had something that they wanted to share with the world. When YouTube started getting more on the business side, which makes complete sense, hey, we can put ads on everyone's videos, and whether they make get 10 views or 1 million views, we make money. That makes sense for them from a business. Then you started seeing corporations. Nike started making a YouTube channel. Apple has a YouTube channel. All these big businesses started coming on a platform that was just solely creators making stuff, and the whole culture kind of changed. And now you're starting to, one, it's super oversaturated, right? I'm sure we all know that there's way too many channels out there. But then you also are getting people that are coming into YouTube or social media or whatever it is with, I want to be famous. I want to make money. I want people to know me. And I think we're starting to see a shift in a lot of people, how they consume content. Because I think most of us are starting to realize who's coming into it with that mindset and who's actually coming into it saying, hey, listen, I have something that I'm passionate about, and I want to share that with 5 people or 1 million people. Whoever wants to watch it with me, great. I think we're going to start seeing that. The end of these big production companies where YouTube is turning into like Netflix. Right? Like you go and you see people being like, wait a second, what's going on here? Like these people used to be relatable. It used to be like me and my buddies in the backyard filming with their phones, and now all of a sudden it's a big thing. I think I could be wrong, but I think we might be getting back to where YouTube started, with people just filming stuff that's relatable in their lives and other people connecting with it. And obviously the big businesses and all that stuff are still gonna be around, but I would say if you're getting into something, I would say try not to make it a business at the beginning. You're going to create a community that falls in love with what you truly love. And they'll stay with you wherever you go. But if you come in and you're like all about the business, buy my merch, hey, click this link, do this from the get-go, it's very hard to create that community. and you're not gonna have that connection. And I think we're headed towards that, or at least I would like to think we're headed towards that direction, because I don't want YouTube to turn into Netflix, to turn into Hulu, to turn into Paramount. And then it's all the same garbage crap that we have on all those things, right? YouTube was different at the beginning because it was real people going out there filming real stuff. I think you're gonna see more of that. And that's what I'll just say with more people is like, you go down the business side of things more. I don't think long-term you're gonna see success versus just going down and creating a community, whether it's 5 or 100 people or whoever, and just sharing your passion with them. Because that comes through the lens. People can see that if that's real or not.
Yeah, I mean, kind of to go off of that, like, for me, I've been blessed enough that I have a full-time job still while I'm making all this content. And so when I first started making YouTube content, it was just a New Year's resolution that I had to make a YouTube video. Because I've watched so much YouTube in my life, I've wanted to make YouTube for the longest time. So I graduated college, and I was like, I'm gonna make a YouTube video this year. And I was like, I like YouTube, I like disc golf. All right, I'm gonna make disc golf YouTube videos. And there was no, like, I just wanted to make a YouTube video and do it consistently. And I didn't have expectations of grandeur of being on a content panel 3 years later talking about how I made it on YouTube. And so when it comes to business, I started, you know, as just a personality. And I've actually been so hesitant to do the business side of things. Like, that's part of the reason I have a retail sponsor is I don't want to like have to sell discs myself, you know, or do any of that stuff. And I also, as a consumer of so much content, like, I don't want to be shilled stuff all the time. You know, I don't want to, like, every video I watch have to listen to a ton of ads and stuff. And so, like, I try to be careful because I know that as a viewer, you're giving me your trust. And I never want to promote something that, you know, like, oh, they gave me money, I'm going to promote them. You know, like, I want it to be a product that I truly believe in and am willing to, you know, actually use. You know, I try, like, if you watch my videos, almost all of my videos have a Vessi sponsorship on them. I tried Vessi's for 6 months before I was like, all right, sweet, you know, like, I will do an ad on my video. Because I was like, I don't want to promote something that doesn't work and I don't like. And, you know, even if they stopped paying me, I'd still wear them. I don't know how I got here, but this is where I am. But at the no, they didn't say it. I didn't say it. Okay, we're done with that. We're moving on. All that to say.
Yeah.
All that to say. I mean, I've already said this, but yeah, like, your heart has to be in the right place. Like, there's a motivation to, you know, get big and have an audience, and, you know, everyone wants their voice to matter, you know, and by having people listen to you, you feel like it matters. So, but you can't go about it with the wrong heart behind it and be trying to sell a bunch of things. Like, you also have to care about it and be happy with the content you're making, is what I'm saying. So, not an ad read, don't worry.
Since I create content like constant, I know Lodanzo was putting up video like every day for a while. How often do you find yourself just going out and actually playing around without recording yourself?
What does that mean?
I create content myself, but I went out to the field and I had all my stuff ready and I didn't have my phone. And so I was like, well, I could go back to that house, but I'm just gonna go ahead and play it around and not waste the day. It was a beautiful day, but I had fun.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, so for me, we're a small business, but we're also, I mean, like, these days we're primarily content. And I do struggle with that, where I'm like, well, if I'm gonna go to the course, it's a nice day, I finally got good weather, like, I gotta take advantage of it. So I don't play much casually anymore. I would love to, but I also have, you know, family, and I'm trying to find a balance for all those things. So I think I'm sure everyone's situation is different too, like where they are with their life, with their support system, how much content they're trying to do. Do they have a schedule that they're trying to keep? We try to post weekly. So that means I do have to constantly be figuring out what's the idea, when am I shooting it, you know, am I shooting multiple videos? So if I can be efficient about my time and go out and maybe shoot 3 or 4 videos at once, and then I can work on post-production and then have an opportunity to get on a separate day to play, I'd love to do it, but I usually don't.
When Foundation started, I played a lot of disc golf outside. When Foundation started, I was on the board at our local club. I was playing weeklies. I was playing tournaments. I was playing college disc golf, so I had practice 2 days a week. None of that's filmed. But then, we went from filming 1 video a week and 1 podcast a week to now we have like 7 podcasts a week and 3 videos on our main channel. And next thing you know, I have a kid and a wife at home, and then all of a sudden I'm like, hey, it's a beautiful Saturday, I might go play disc golf. And she's like, I thought you only worked Monday through Friday. I'm like, yeah, it's tough. So nowadays, if I throw a disc, it is being filmed. There isn't, every once in a while, and by every once in a while, I mean once a quarter, I'll get out and play with my brother or something, but because he's the one that got me into disc golf. But not many opportunities come up anymore, but that's just life, and I'm blessed that I get to play disc golf as much as I do because it's part of my job. Because if that wasn't the case, I probably still wouldn't get to play much. But hey, now I can still play a lot, but it's just part of work,
When I re-upped with Foundation this year as a anti-burnout goal, the goal was to play 1 round a week with people that I trust. And that sounds so silly, but for coaching, my greatest fear is that I said this to Hunter at All-Stars. I said, I'm going to throw forehands during this video because I don't want to throw a backhand and embarrass myself and invalidate our lessons. Because people are still fixated on the fact that if you can't throw 500 feet, you aren't allowed to teach people how to throw. So interesting. But Tristan's in the next session, he does throw 500 feet. So you should listen to him more than me every day of the week. Yeah, so I have a very small group of people that are okay with me playing bad and knowing hey, no one makes jokes about it is my relief. So I try to do it once a week. That's the goal, and it has made me actually really enjoy this golf again.
So the phrase is, do what you love, never work a day in your life. You guys are full-time content creators, so do you ever get sick of actually playing disc golf, or just even creating content, or is this still something you genuinely enjoy? And this can not even play this is go for doing a podcast every week. This is a commitment. Do you ever get sick of it? Is it work now, or do you still actually enjoy it? And this is for everyone, whoever wants to answer this.
Yeah, I was gonna answer the last question. Actually, both of these kind of tie together for me. If you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. I hope someone has a different answer, but I personally don't find that to be the case. But I also don't think work is a bad thing. I really find a lot of value, worth, and enjoyment in working. It's not always gonna be good, but I think that there are just studies when someone just stops working, their life just gets worse overall. And it doesn't always have to be for money or for something, but having something that you find purpose and value in and working towards it is inherently going to be difficult. But as people, we get better and we live more full lives when we do those things. Kind of the thing that ties both these questions together for me is I don't play a lot casually, almost at all right now. And I don't think I would play casually, but my goal to become a pro tour disc golfer requires a lot of training that over the last these last 2 weeks have been really frustrating for me because the weather's been good. I've been filming. I've been in the gym with my strength and conditioning coach, and then I'll do a little bit of training, but my body is just too fatigued at the end of the week because of throwing. And one of the things that I found in content that helps this question, helps me enjoy it more, it helps me to be able to play more in the future is this year I've started setting caps on myself of okay, I can only post 5 videos a week, which obviously is a lot, but it's Monday through Friday I can only post. But over the past 2 years before that, what I would do is every day would be a day that I would be able to post a video. And so if I'm not posting a video or working towards that, I would feel like I was not getting something out there, but then I would get so burnt out because every day was a day that I could post that I ended up posting last year 3.67 videos a week. So 3 2/3 on average. And this 2 months of this first year, I posted 5 videos a week every week, and I think my videos are better. I've put more effort into the graphics, the sound, a lot of things. My videos are getting better, my topics are getting better, because now I have Saturday, Sunday, I don't have to worry about posting. And so putting that cap on myself has been very helpful to find that upper end. And so like your example of how you go to the field and you're trying and you're thinking, oh, I should film. If there's like, okay, this is the limit of the amount of videos I'm going to be filming this week. One, you might get more done because I find it's easier to work towards the limit than work from a floor. Because if I'm like, okay, I have to get 3 videos done, then it feels like a chore. But if I can only get 5 videos done, I want to go get those done as easily and as good as possible. And if I find myself having more time, then I can work and making them better. And so similarly, being able to play more and train more in like just throwing and then like actual rounds and field work is going to come down. I've been talking with Jesse. We got lunch earlier this week. Like I'm capping myself on the amount of videos I'm going to be throwing in coming soon and like how many throws I can throw. And so finding this upper balance for myself and then constantly iterating and tweaking and not just because I say I'm going to post 5 videos a week and like commit to that doesn't mean they have to all be the same type of videos, and finding ways to work within those limits. Creativity loves constraints, whether that's like actual creativity, like creating videos, or like finding creative ways to work better. And so those are the things that are working for me between those 2 questions.
Has anyone compared you to Gary Vee before? Have you got that comparison?
Luckily, no.
No?
I haven't, no.
No?
Not yet.
Yeah. I feel like I hear like Gary Vee in you a lot, which is fine. It's
so fine.
No, I'm just saying it's like that stressed me out, and I wasn't even doing anything. It's talent. But if it makes you work at the end of the day, if that like what you were saying is like we're all after something to improve ourselves, and that's like if you ask me how many videos you posted, I have no idea. But like you love that stuff,
Yeah,
and if that really turns your gears, that makes you go. That's awesome. And that's where I think it shows like you can be successful making content without following an algorithm. It's always fascinating to me. I'm very overweight right now, and I'm losing weight, and it's always fascinating because I feel like I always get these like TikTok videos when I'm in this stage right now because I'm like trying to consume a lot of stuff. It's very simple. Eat less than you burn. But if that was the case, how do I make content? Right? Like if I'm like a fitness person or a weight loss person, how do I make content if that is the answer? I don't. I literally just did. Now I'm done. So I have to come up with crazy stuff to get people to watch. Oh no, it's this new fad. And I think when it comes to content creation, I think if you just make stuff, and like I said, like before, I think a lot of people have different goals in mind, because when it came to me, like I never made videos unless I wanted to make a video. If you go back and look, especially like back in the day when I was making trick shot videos that were hitting 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, 10 million, you'd be thinking, bro, why aren't you just making one of these videos every week? Because I didn't want to. That's why. Could I have made millions and more dollars? Probably, yeah. But would I have a happier life? Probably not. I would have not enjoyed those moments as much. And so I think if you this is where I think it's different, because I think your side, your business, creating a free marketing arm, like you said, and that makes a lot of sense, because otherwise you would be paying for that, right? But if you're like a content creator, and you're like just doing it, you're your own boss, your own thing. I think if you're like trying your goal, like it's to like make money or make views and stuff, like you're ultimately gonna get into a spot where you don't want to do it. And so if you go and look at my content, guess what? I haven't made a main channel video in how many months?
7.
Why?
13 days.
Why? Because but the answer to that is because I don't want to. Right? And I think ultimately at the end of the day, like, I don't know where you're headed, because I don't know if you're like in a good spot as far as content creation, having to set caps and stuff, but like I see people, you can go down that dark path of like, oh, well, if I don't post now, then no one's gonna watch me tomorrow. And it's like, it's a really scary path to go down, where I think if you just find, hey, I have this really cool idea, I want to film it, let me go out there and do it, then that's awesome. These guys, I give hats off to them because they have a schedule that they have to hit. And again, it's like more of a business side of thing, where like the content side of Foundation's like on the business side. But I know a lot of you guys are probably more on the creation side. It's okay to just not post. I know these people love saying like, hey, if you post 4 TikToks every day, you'll gain 1 million followers at the end of the year. Like, I don't believe that, and I don't think you want to do that. I think you also might hate your life if you do that. So if you come up with a good idea and you like it, go out and film it. And if 5 people watch it, 5 people watch it, but just be happy that you did it. Because it can turn into like a super stress of where like, I have to film because I have to film. You don't want to ever get into that spot because that's like, I think that's where you make your worst content, creatively. I might have said absolutely nothing there, Robbie. I don't know, but.
Rebuttal. No, not a rebuttal, but I think it just shows it's very different. Like we have very different personalities in the way that we create content. Because for me, setting that cap has helped me to not burn out. Like because before, like I have so many ideas. Like I made so many videos, and then I made a second channel to post more videos. So like there were months where I posted upwards of 35, 40 videos because I have so many ideas and I want to do so much. And I really enjoy like I cannot imagine doing anything better for like a living for myself right now. I also know that like I'm in a great position to capitalize on this, like so that in the future if I don't want to make videos, I don't have to.
You like the editing part too, though.
If I could hire an editor, I would probably hire some of it out, but I do enjoy editing a lot. And only needing to edit 5 videos instead of mentally needing to always be editing is very different. Because now, I mean, I have a kid now, and I take Saturdays and Sundays completely off if I want to, or I go and film if I want to. Like I'm here this weekend working, and then I'll get right back to it on Monday. But it's like I finished my edit last night, and now I don't have to edit for the next 2 days, and I'm making a couple videos this weekend. And setting that cap has helped me to like mentally decompress from the week, so I don't always have to be on in terms of creating. Because for like 2.5, 3 years, I was just always on, whether it's this channel or the one before, always feeling like I need to create a video and creating videos because I enjoyed it. And now setting that upper bound for myself has made my stuff better because I can concentrate all my energy in the best 5 videos I can put on my main channel. And if something happens on my other channels, great. But like that's not important to me. I just like putting out these videos. And if I put out 4 videos, not the end of the world, but I have too many ideas and too many things I want to do that I really enjoy going out and making these videos all the time. And so creating that upper bound makes me pick the best videos that I can for those 5 videos, and then I get to go and execute on them.
I think the one thing in between, because like obviously there's a bunch of different mindsets on it, and one thing that I've had to realize about myself is my hobby is work. I really love it, and like, that's weird for a lot of people, right? I think it's a great spot that like the entrepreneurship side, the people management side, all of that, I love it. So what's the bad side of that is like, you know, wife and kid, wife obviously, you know, like 3 corgis, more work than a kid. But you have like outside responsibilities where like when I get home and we sit down and my wife's like scrolling on her phone and I pull my laptop out, what I want to do is work. It's not like I have to. It's like, no, when we were redesigning our website, like that was what I was passionate about. I loved it. I was enjoying it. It wasn't like, oh, gotta, you know, clock in again. But from the outside, it still seems like work. So like, depending on how you see it and what you like, Bonanza clearly loves making content. So but with you, like with editing and stuff, like if I'm in the same boat. If I had to edit 5 videos a week, I wouldn't be on this panel right now. I would be at a marketing job anywhere else in the world.
I'm honestly surprised you haven't done like one of those like TikTok streams where they just like act like a character in front of this. You know what I'm talking about?
Heck yeah.
Oh, thank for the roses. Thank for the roses.
Oh my god.
You know what I'm talking about? Does anyone know what I'm talking about?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Basically, the point I was trying to make is like, you'll get a bunch of different ideas, but like if what you love is the work side, then like Alex Hormozi is a guy you can follow online and people think he's crazy, but he says a very similar thing of like, I love working. So he'll work 16 hours a day. And he's like, that's not sustainable. It's like, well, no, I'm doing what I love 16 hours a day. It just happens to be like, when you think of work, it might be something that is miserable. Like I used to work in a frozen yogurt shop. If I had to work there 16 hours a day, that would suck. Of course I wouldn't want to do that. But if you love doing it, it doesn't feel like work.
A lot for you.
I did get some free yogurt. I worked at a coffee shop inside of the frozen yogurt place. Of course, it didn't work. So it didn't work out of our mind. Yeah.
This started with the do what you love and you never work a day in your life. And I would say I do what I love. I've never worked harder in my life, and I've never been happier than I am.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Right. Mic drop.
Okay, it's 1:57. I have one question I want to ask the panel. all of your channels get deleted. You cannot dive into a niche that you currently have a channel for. What's your next channel? Because of 3 of you I know specifically have a lot of channels. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Golf.
Oh, wow.
I gotta break 100.
Break
100.
I would probably have to pick something else that I'm really interested in. So I'd probably do some sort of series where you just watch me watch every episode of Top Gear UK. Just like forever. I can do that.
I'm so doing this.
I would make stuff in my garage, which is exactly how this channel started too. But I just make different stuff.
Would you see how far you go on a penny?
No, I don't think I would go mainstream. So when I was deciding if I wanted what I wanted my YouTube channel to be about, it was either disc golf or like biblical history, which is like so like the opposite. But so that would be my answer. I do like deep dives into Bible stories and all that stuff. I find it very interesting. So
You got 1 subscriber.
Yeah, I think the hard part is almost all like
Did us?
hobbies that I've had. I've made content before, not like obviously not monetized, and hopefully you never find the channels, but like I already have them. So I think one of the things that's become a recent interest of mine is like biomechanics, because I work with a strength and conditioning specialist who has worked with a lot of like pro athletes, college athletes, and high school people, very like in a muscular way, and so probably like so it's not like they're just like in the gym just doing this all the time, but I'd probably something in like getting certified to be a strength and conditioning specialist, and then what that process looks like, and then working on myself and other people. Something to do.
also Minecraft.
Well, me? Really didn't answer that. So.
Oh. Yeah, I pretty much when I like something, I start making content. So right now, I'm locked in on the finance side. Not like these weird coins that are screwing people over, but more on the side of like, no one actually teaches you what you're supposed to do with money until it's too late. Then you start realizing like, wait, what am I supposed to be doing with money? And the whole stock market and all that stuff is super scary if you have no idea what you're looking at. So I think I would do like I almost, you know what I would do? I would almost do like a channel where it's like, these are all things that the government or people in power want to make very difficult and challenging to control you. But ultimately, they're very simple things. So just do these steps and you're good.
The resistance.
Chits.
I did think of a better answer though. I think I'd do like on TikTok, you can like go live and just like thank people for like giving you donate, like thank you for I think you actually would be very successful.
I was talking about doing something you like to do.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Stay tuned for Tristan and